Welcome to this presentation by the Stanford Scholar Initiative. Today we'll be examining the paper, Crowdsourcing Annotations of Websites' Privacy Policies. Can it really work? Well, let's explore. Website privacy policies are often long and difficult to comprehend, as they are drafted to ensure regulatory compliances rather than to effectively inform the users. People do not have time to read and understand the policy of every website they visit. A few techniques to simplify these policies have been implemented in the last few years. P3P is a way to codify the privacy policy. However, it has been met with resistance. Crowdsourcing needs to be made more accurate and scalable. Authors in the paper aim towards enhancing productivity through crowdsourcing. Let's have a look at some of the related work in this area. The TOSDR community analyzes and grades policies for their respect towards users' privacy. Their approach, being flexible and organic, is difficult to scale. The Zimic and Bellowin method obtains answers through an NLP-based approach, which results in varying accuracy. Crowdsourcing has resulted in lower accuracy because of the intentional vagueness present in the policies. So the authors designed an interface to facilitate readability of privacy policies and response recording. Some cues in this direction have been to incorporate objective questions and highlight relevant paragraphs for each question. Let us have a look at this approach in more detail. Now we'll be talking about the study design. Among study groups, there existed one control condition, no high, and two treatment conditions, top 5 and top 10. No high consisted of crowd workers' response to questions of policies in the original task. Top 5 and top 10 additionally highlighted the top 5 and 10 relevant paragraphs for each question. The system consisted of an online annotation tool and two classes of annotators, skilled annotators and crowd workers. Skilled annotators were used to determine the true responses. Accuracy of crowd workers were judged against it. Multiple iterations were used to develop and enhance the question set and tool features. The annotation tool used displays a policy on the left and one of the annotation questions on the right. Annotators select phrases from the policy text to support their responses. Users can navigate the questions before submitting the completed task. The annotation scheme was based mainly on data practices mentioned in federal privacy litigation and FTC. This included collection and sharing of personal information, also if the website allows the users to modify or delete their data. Focus was given to clarity with respect to particularly sensitive information types. Let's have a look at the design of question and responses. The first four questions were about data collection, with the response options as yes, no, unclear, and not applicable. The next four questions were about sharing of this collected information with third parties, with the response options as fulfilling a core service, for purposes other than the core service, and third option was with explicit user consent. The last question being about the deletion of user information, which indicated the possibility of the extent of removal. Annotation was done with respect to the main website. The statements applying to a limited audience and those concerning legal retention were ignored. Annotators were allowed to indicate when a policy was vague or silent with regard to a specific data practice. The privacy policies of the top news and shopping websites were selected based on traffic rankings from Alexa.com between December 2013 and January 2014. Now let's look at the participant groups. A set of 218 skilled annotators and crowd workers were appointed for the study. Crowd workers were less educated than skilled annotators, and they were paid $6 per annotated privacy policy. Each policy was annotated by 10 crowd workers, having an average time of 31 minutes. Now we look at the demographic information that was provided through an exit survey. Table 1 shows gender and age distribution. Table 2 quantifies the occupation of the crowd workers. Table 3 represents the education statistics, and Table 4 quantifies the legal know-how of the crowd workers. Now we'll be focusing on the study results. This figure shows the distribution of people across the three conditions on the basis of their knowledge. As can be seen, know-how consists of people having more knowledge as compared to top 5 and top 10. This figure illustrates that highlighted paragraphs support participants' ability to understand the presented legal texts. After the completion of task, participants were asked about the difficulty level of understanding the legal text. Surprisingly, the people in the no high condition, which were more knowledgeable, found it more difficult to understand the legal text as compared to people belonging to the top 5 and top 10 category, which were less knowledgeable. This indicates that highlighting the paragraphs makes the understanding of legal text significantly easier. An answer by crowd workers were considered for evaluation if it crossed the 80% threshold. That is, at least 4 of the 5 crowd workers marked the same answer. This figure illustrates the accuracy rate across the 3 different conditions. It also shows that accuracy is not affected by highlighting. Top 5, top 10, and no high have similar accuracy rates. The figure shows the percentage of portions which were considered outside the highlighted area for answering a question. As compared to top 10, in general, portions considered outside the highlighted area was more for top 5. This also shows that annotators do consider some text outside that which is highlighted. This figure shows the time spread for task completion across the 3 conditions. The time spread is greatest for the no-high condition and is significantly less for the top 5, which means that highlighting the most significant paragraphs reduces the time of completion considerably. This figure represents the perceived usefulness of highlighting paragraphs. As it is biased towards the positive side, it can be seen that highlighting the paragraphs indeed helped annotators. Through this paper, the authors have shown that the intelligence of crowd workers can be leveraged in an efficient manner to solve computationally hard problems. Privacy policies have not yet been able to make users understand the implications of using a website. This could be made more economical by creating a balance between the skill level of crowd workers and minimum number of annotations required.